Hello students, I, Mrs. Madhvi Matre, welcome you all in the next lecture of Mathematics 1. I hope you all are doing well at home and at the same time you are preparing for your board exams. You must have started studying seriously. We are studying chapter number 1, that is linear equations in two variables. And in this chapter, now we have come to an end. That is the last topic, application of simultaneous equations. Nothing but word problems based on linear equations in two variables. The same topic we have studied in 9th standard, and there you have understood how to frame the equations by reading the word problem. Okay. So now let us move towards that topic. Since already we have studied about this, we are directly starting with the solved examples from the textbook. So here, the very first example is the perimeter of a rectangle is 40 centimeters. The length of the rectangle is more than double its breadth by 2. Find length and breadth. Okay, now how to recognize whether the given word problem is from linear equations in two variables or not? Because again you have one more type of word problem, that is quadratic equations word problem. So you need to understand that you have to use which method. Either you have to frame two equations or you are going to frame quadratic equations. When we will come to that chapter, you will understand it better. So here always what you will find is two different conditions are given here. Okay, you will find that this is first condition. The perimeter of a rectangle is 40 centimeters. And the second condition is the length of the rectangle is more than double its breadth by 2. So always here you will find two conditions. And in quadratic equations, there may not be two conditions. There may be one condition also. But here you will find two conditions generally. Okay. In the last statement also you will find that you need to find two things. There it might like that you have to find only one thing. That means you have to use only one variable. So you have to make use of this. Now why to understand is that whether to use one variable or two variables, because some questions you can solve by both the methods, but some question strictly you need two variables, and for some questions strictly you need one variable. So you need to understand. So here now always read the question, try to understand it, and then take help of large statement to assign the variables. Here we are going to assign two variables, x and y. Okay, you can use any variables, but generally we are using x and y as a practice. So here, whatever we want to find, that we have to take as unknown. That means those variables. So here length we will take as x centimeters and breadth we will take as y centimeters. So that is our first statement, that the length of the rectangle is x centimeters and breadth of the rectangle is y centimeter. Writing unit is very important here. Read the question and find the unit there. See here you can find that the unit of perimeter is centimeter. That is why for length and breadth you need to use the unit centimeter. If you are not writing unit here, then you will lose your half mark. Okay, so writing unit is very important. So we have assigned two variables here, x and y, for length and breadth respectively. Now let us make use of the conditions. See here the first condition. So you have to write down according to the first condition, and then you have to write down the first equation. Now you know the formula for perimeter of rectangle, 2 inside the bracket L plus B. That means 2 inside the bracket length plus breadth. So here length is x and breadth is y. So I have written here 2 inside the bracket x plus y is equal to 40. Now here we can divide 40 by 2. We have to simplify the given equation. So the first equation here is x plus y is equal to 20. Number it as 1. So by using first condition, we got first equation. Now read the second condition. The length of the rectangle is more than double its breadth by 2. Now when such statement comes, what you have to do is, you have to break the statement at the word is. Sometimes it may be are, sometimes it may be equals. So at that point you have to break the statement. This is stands for equal to. Okay. So whatever you have is your, before that is your left hand side. And after that whatever you have is your right hand side. So length of the rectangle, that means L, length, that we have taken as x. So how we will frame the equation? Here we will write x. E stands for equal to. And more than double its breadth. Double breadth is breadth means what? 2y. And more means plus 2. Okay. So this way we are going to frame the second equation. See, x on the left hand side. E stands for equal to. Double its breadth, so 2y, and more than 2, so plus 2. If less than is there, you have to write minus. Now this equation is not in the standard form, that is ax plus by is equal to c. So you have to write it in the standard form if you want to solve it by using elimination method or by using Cramer's rule. You can use any method as I have said. Then somebody can use substitution method also. That means this equation is in the form of x is equal to the terms. So these two terms you can substitute here and directly you will get value of y. So that method also will be useful here, substitution method. Okay. But those who want to use elimination method or Cramer's rule, then they have to write it in the form ax plus by is equal to c. Okay, so the equation is written properly. This 2y from the right hand side is shifted to left hand side. So became minus 2y. So the equation is x minus 2y is equal to 2. Both the equations are ready. Now, as I have said, you can solve them by any method. Here, in textbook now, the method of Cramer's rule is used or determinant method is used. Okay. Just a solve problem, try to understand. Now from here, if the same question appears in exam, your choice, you can go for any method. Okay, it is not compulsory that in textbook Cramer's rule is used, so you also need to use Cramer's rule. Okay, so let us go further. Now they have written, let's solve equation 1 and 2 by determinant method. So again the equations are written one below another, so that we can write down three determinants, d, dx and dy. You know, for d we are only seeing the coefficients on left hand side. Okay, so let us write down the determinants. First is d. So here you have see 1 and 1, which is written as first row from the first equation, and here 1 and minus 2, that is the second row. And then the determinant is solved. 1 into minus 2 minus 1 into 1. The cross multiplication is done. So 1 into minus 2 is minus 2. This minus sign in between, and 1 into 1 is 1. So minus 2 minus 1, the value of determinant d is minus 3. Then let us go for dx, second determinant. So there we have to use the coefficients on right hand side. That will come as first column. And second column you can copy down from as it is. So dx will be like this. 20 and 22 here as first column, and the second column as it is from d. Again go for cross multiply. 20 into minus 2 minus 1 into 2. So 20 into minus 2 is minus 40, and here you will get minus 2. So minus 40 and minus 2, the answer is minus 42. Correct? Let us go further. The third determinant dy. Now while writing dy, what you have to do, the coefficients on right hand side you will write in the second column, and first column you have to write down as it is. Again solve it. 1 into 2 in one bracket minus 20 into 1. So 1 into 2 is 2, minus sign as it is, 20 into 1 is 20. So 2 minus 20, the answer is minus 18. In this way, we got the values of determinants d, dx and dy. Now we have to use Cramer's rule. So by Cramer's rule, just recall Cramer's rule, that by Cramer's rule x is equal to dx by d and y is equal to dy by d. So write down the values. Dx is minus 42 and d is minus 3 here. And for y, dy is minus 18 and d is minus 3. So from that we got the values x is equal to 14 and y is equal to 6. That means both the unknown variables we have found out. Now, whenever there is a word problem, your final answer should be a statement. Always recall the last statement. What we need to find here? Find the length and breadth. So that you will write down as your final statement that therefore the length of the rectangle is 14 centimeters and breadth is 6 centimeters. Or simply you can write down length of the rectangle is equal to symbol also you can write 14 centimeters and breadth is equal to 6 centimeters. So anyhow, but the final statement should be there because it carries half mark. Always the half mark is reserved for the last answer. I hope you must have understood this. There is no need to write this because already it is there in textbook. I discussed it to make you understand. And generally what you are doing for mathematics, you are not using textbook. But please don't do this. Textbook is very useful here. Very good information is given there. And as I have said that open-ended questions also are asked from textbook only many times. So always use textbook here. Especially for the board exam, it is very important. So let us go now towards the next example. Mark it as an important example. So many times this question is asked in board exams. This is favorite question of examiners. Here sometimes they change the numbers, but the framing of question is same. Now here they have expressed this question in the form of activity. That means a complete paragraph is not given as a question. Instead, they have given you picture here and then they have framed the question here in different boxes. Okay. But this is an important question. So now let us see the question here. What you can see is here the water current is shown, or you can say you can see river here, and in that boat is shown. Okay. So let us read the question. A boat travels 16 kilometers upstream and 24 kilometers downstream in 6 hours. The same boat travels 36 kilometers upstream and 48 kilometers downstream in 13 hours. That means these are the two conditions given to us. As I have said, you will always find two conditions. And what we need to find is find the speed of water current and the speed of boat in still water. Okay, these two things we want to find out. So it's obvious now, or it's understood that here the two things which we want to find out, we will take them as x and y. So here the speed of the water current we will take as x kilometers per hour and speed of the boat we will take as y kilometers per hour. Okay. Afterwards, the next thing to remember here is that the speed of the boat must be more than the speed of the water current. Okay, or you can take speed of the boat as x and speed of water current as y. That will be better. Okay, in sequence. For boat we will take x and for water current we can take y. Anyhow you can take. But here the important thing is what speed of the boat should be greater than the speed of the water current. Otherwise, the boat will not be able to travel upstream. Upstream, see, this is upstream. That means in the opposite direction of the flow. And downstream means what? In the same direction of the flow of the current. Now here, since they have used the word upstream and downstream, we have to find out the speed of the boat upstream and speed of the boat downstream. Here, if the speed of the water current if taken as y and speed of boat is taken as x. So when the boat is traveling upstream, that means in opposite direction, that time the speed of the current is going to oppose the speed of the boat. Therefore, the speed of the boat will decrease. It will become x minus y. And when it is coming downstream, that time the speed of the water current is going to help the speed of the boat. So here the speed will increase and it will become x plus y. That means while going upstream, the speed of the water current is going to oppose the speed of the boat, and while coming downstream, it is going to support the speed of the boat. Okay. So let's try to understand now how to solve it. All of you please see in textbook. So as I have said, the speed of the boat we have taken as x kilometers per hour. But you need to mention it properly. Let the speed of the boat in still water. See the last statement. They have told that in still water be x kilometers per hour and speed of the water current be y kilometers per hour. Then as I have mentioned that while going upstream, it is going to oppose the speed of the boat. So for upstream, the speed will become x minus y kilometers per hour. And for downstream, it is going to support the speed of the boat. That is why it is going to become x plus y kilometers per hour. Every time don't forget to write down the unit. As I have said, it is very much important. So the speed of the boat downstream is x plus y kilometers per hour and upstream is x minus y kilometers per hour. Now see in your textbook and see the first condition there. So according to the first condition, what they have said is the time is given there. If you observe, the time is given there. That is why we have to write down the formula for time. All of you know that distance is equal to speed into time, and therefore time is equal to distance upon speed. So if you read the statement carefully, you will find that the distances are given and time is given, and speed already we have found out here. So we have all the three things now. Time is there, distance is there, and speed is there. So by using that first condition in which it is told that the time taken by the boat to travel 16 kilometers upstream and 24 kilometers downstream. So this is distance covered for upstream. You can see the speed here. So distance is 16 and speed is x minus y. So the time taken by the boat to travel 16 kilometers upstream is 16 upon x minus y. And then downstream the distance is 24 kilometers and the speed is x plus y. Okay, so in this way you can find the time in both the cases. This is the time in upstream and this is for downstream. And then the total time is given to us. So by using that we can write down the equation from the first condition. The total time taken is 6 hours given. Okay, so this is the time for upstream. This is the time for downstream. And when we add them up or together, it takes 6 hours. So we can write down the first equation. Okay, so what you will observe here is this is from our previous topic, that these equations are not in the form of linear equations. The present form is not in the linear form, but you can reduce it because just now we have learned how to reduce it. We have to go for substitution for this 1 upon x minus y and 1 upon x plus y. Okay. Now second equation also we will get similarly. Okay. Now second condition is given. Similarly, the time taken is 13 hours given and the distances are different. So here for upstream the distance is 36 kilometers and this is the speed. And for downstream the distance is 48 kilometers. This is speed. And total time taken is 13. So see, you can observe these equations. And now you can solve them just as we have done previously from practice set 1.4. These are similar type of equations that we are going to replace 1 upon x minus y by any other variable like m and here n or a and b, anything. Okay. So let us see further. So replacing 1 upon x minus y by m and 1 upon x plus y by n, you will get new equations. 16m plus 24n is equal to 6, equation number 3, and 36m plus 48n is equal to 13. This is equation number 4. Now afterwards they have directly given the answer of m and n, but you have to solve it actually. You need to solve these equations by any method. As I have said, you can use any method. Elimination method you can use. For example, here you have 48 and here you have 24. So if you multiply here by 2, then here you will get 48 and then you can subtract. So that will be elimination method. If you want, you can go for Cramer's rule like we have seen in the previous example. And by using that, you will get values of m as 1 upon 4 and value of n as 1 upon 12. Okay. Please take a note that you cannot write directly solving equations. You need to solve. You need to show those steps there. So m is 1 upon 4 and n is 1 upon 12. But see the original values now here. In original equation, we have x and y. So we need to again resubstitute. Okay, so replacing, they have written here replacing. You can see here spelling mistake also is there in textbook. So ignore that, it is from textbook, or you can correct it there. So replacing m and n by their original values. Afterwards, if we put it here, see in place of m, if we write 1 upon 4, then I said that numerators are equal. So the first equation will be x minus y is equal to 4. 4 is in denominator. Okay. So this is first equation from replacing, but you will not number it as 1. You will number it as 5 because we have already numbered up to 4. And then here if we write 1 upon 12, then we will get x plus y as 12. So again we got two equations. Again we need to solve. Elimination method will be best here. If you add, then y will be eliminated and you will get value of x. See, x plus x 2x and 4 plus 12 16. So 2x is 16, therefore x is equal to 8 you will get. So when you solve these equations, you will get x is equal to 8 and y is equal to 4. Okay. So we got both the values. But what is x now here? The speed of the water current. And what is y? The speed of the boat in still water. That should be your last answer as a statement. And therefore, the speed of the boat in still water is 8 kilometers per hour and speed of the water current is 4 kilometers per hour. Okay. I hope you must have understood this question. As I have said, this is an important question. This will appear in question number 4 for 4 marks. Okay, let us go further towards the next solved example. Again, mark it as important. This is also important. This is one more favorite question of examiners. Always the questions they ask for 2-digit number or 3-digit number. Generally, they ask for 2-digit number, but here it is asked for 3-digit number. So it is a little bit more challenging. Okay. So let us read the question. A 3-digit number is equal to 17 times the sum of its digits. So this is the first condition. If the digits are reversed, the new number is 198 more than the old number. This is second condition. Also, the sum of extreme digits is less than the middle digit by unity. Now you will say that one more condition appeared here. Why it is appeared? Because it is 3-digit number. We cannot use 3 variables x, y, z. We have to use only 2 variables. Okay. So to get that third digit, it is one more statement is given. See, for given it is given in the form of, see, extreme digits means 100 and tens place and the middle digit. Okay. So if 100 place we are taking as x and units place we are taking as y, then we can write down the middle digit by using the numbers x and y. That is why here one more statement is provided so that we can write down the digits here. Find the original number. because here both the types of numbers are expressed, reversed one also and original also. So we have to find original number. Now whenever such question appears of the 2-digit number or 3-digit number, always you make a table for the digits so that you can express it properly. Okay, so you will find that in textbook also the table is given here. Let the digit at 100 place be x and that in unit place be y. How to decide now where to take x and where to take y? Because here we read this statement that the sum of extreme digits, that means extreme digits are unknown, and then we can write down the middle digit by using that. So you have to take hundreds place as x and units place as y. Okay, and then by using this third statement you can write down the digit at tens place. See, sum of extreme digits means what? X plus y, and this sum is less by 1 than the middle digit. That means the middle digit is more than 1 by its sum. That is why here it is plus 1 is used. Otherwise you will think that here less word is used and why here plus has come. So here sum of extreme digits is less than the middle one by unity. That means the middle place or the middle digit is 1 more than the sum of the digit. Understood how it is found out? Okay, it is given to confuse you, that in hurry you will write down -1 and then you will get wrong answer. So read it properly. Sum of the extreme digits means x plus y is equal to middle digit -1. So that -1 is transferred here, so it became +1. Understood now? Okay. So this is the digit at tens place. This is the digit as, sorry, I'm sorry, this is digit at hundreds place. This is at tens place and this is at units place. Now by using these digits, we can write that 3-digit number. So that 3-digit number will be, here you have to multiply by 100 plus, here you have to multiply by 10. You will write this in bracket and plus the unit place. You know how we write down the expanded form here. Okay, here we have to multiply by its place value. So 100 into x, 10 into all these terms in bracket and plus the unit place. Okay, so the number we will get like this. See, 100x plus 10 inside the bracket, whatever we have in the at the middle digit, and plus the unit place. So let us now open this bracket and find out the number. Here when you open, you will get 10x, here you will get 10y and here you will get 10. So let us find out the number. See, 100x plus 10x plus 10y plus 10 plus y is equal to, now add them. See, like terms you add. 100 plus 10, 110. Okay. Then 10 here for y and 1 here. So 10 and 1, 11y. And here 10 as it is. So this is our original number which we want to find out. Okay. So here still we have not come to conditions also. We have only found out the number which is unknown to us by using the third statement and by taking the values x and y to the 100 place and unit place respectively. Now let us make use of the first condition. A 3-digit number is equal to 17 times the sum of its digits. The 3-digit number, that means this number which we found out. And sum of digits means this plus this plus this. That means the digit at 100th place plus digit at tens place plus digit at units place. So write down. As I have said, break the statement here. E stands for or is equal to, it is given. Okay. So this is your left hand side, a 3-digit number, that means this. Then equal to times and 17 times the sum of the digits. Okay. So here first we have found out the sum of the digits. See, sum here 100 place, then tens place and unit place. So sum is 2x plus 2y plus 1. And then by making use of the first condition, we can write down this equation. Okay. 110x plus 11y plus 10, that is the original number, is 17 times the sum of the digits. Let us now solve it. So left hand side as it is, open the bracket here. 17 into 2x, 34x. 17 into 2y, 34y. And 17 into 1 is 17. Now let us shift these variables on left hand side, and constant we will shift on right hand side, so that we can write down the equation in the form of ax plus by is equal to c. So see, 110 minus 34. Okay, so here, sorry, 110x minus 34x, so 76x we got. You can see subtracting here. Then 11y minus 34y. 34 is bigger and minus sign is there, so minus 23y. And 17 minus 10 is 7. So this is our first equation. Now let us make use of the second condition. What they have given in second condition, the number obtained by reversing the digit. So let's find out the number obtained by reversing the digits. Reversing the digit means what? The middle digit is going to remain in the same place. Only x and y are interchanged. See, in original number, x is here and y is at the end. But here now, y has come to the hundreds place and x has come to units place. So that is why the number will be 100y plus 10 into the digit at tens place plus the digit at units place. So here, see, again if we expand here, 10x plus 10y. So see, 100y plus 10y, we will get 110y. 10x plus x, 11x, and 10 as it is. See these numbers, only the position of x and y is interchanged. So this is the number which we obtain by reversing the digits. Now make use of the condition. This is original number and this is the reversed number. And what is the condition given? That given number is smaller. Okay, here, and the new number is bigger. Read the condition. The new number is 198 more than the original number. So original number plus 198, and then we are going to the number which is reversed, or we are going to get the new number. The original number is smaller, the new number is bigger. So we wrote this condition. Now write down the given number, that means this here, plus 198 and the new number. Okay, so it is written. From here you can see. Now solve it again. Again, shift this towards the left hand side and the constants on the right hand side. And then you will get the new equation. For example, here 110x minus 11x. So you will get 99x. 11y minus 110y, you will get minus 99y. Okay, so 99x minus 99y. And see here, this 10 and this 10 you can cancel from both the sides. So this plus 198 shifted to right hand side, that became minus 198. And this equation is divisible by 99. So both the sides are divided by 99 and we got the new equation as x minus y is equal to minus 2. Okay. Now you can solve these two equations and you can get values of x and y. Okay. So let us see how they are solved. Now here they have used substitution method. In solved examples you will find that everywhere different methods are used. So x is expressed in the form of y minus 2. Now here this we can substitute here. Okay, so let us see. So substitute this value in equation 1. So see here, in place of x it is written y minus 2. And then when this equation is solved, when you open this bracket and when you solve, you will get value of y. So see, 76 into y is 76y, minus 76 into 2 is 152, and this minus 23y as it is equal to 7 as it is. Now see, 76 minus 23, you will get 53y, and this minus 152, if you shift on right hand side, it will be added to 7 and you will get 159. And then y is equal to 159 divided by 53, that is 3. So value of y we got as 3, and this is our digit at units place. So we got the digit at units place. Now the next step is to find out value of x so that we will get the digit at hundreds place. So let us put this value in equation 2, because already we have expressed in the form of x is equal to something. So when you put here y is equal to 3, you will get x as 1. 3 minus 2, 1. This is nothing but the digit at hundreds place. Okay. So we got digit at units place, we got digit at hundreds place. Now by using these two values, we can get the digit in the tens place, or we will get the middle digit as 3 plus 1 plus 1. That it is x plus y plus 1. Here they have not followed the sequence properly. X, if you see the table, it is x plus y plus 1. That means 1 plus 3 plus 1. You know that addition is orderless, so you can write down in any order. So 3 plus 1 plus 1, 5. So in this way, we got all the three digits. Hundreds place, that is 1. Tens place, that is 5. And units place, that is 3. So finally, the number we will get as 153. Therefore, the number is 153. Okay. So in this way, you are going to find it. So what you will find it that these questions are a little bit lengthy and you need to apply your skills here. Okay. So students, today I am stopping here. All of you please go through the solved examples, try to understand them. And still if you have any doubt, you can ask. Thank you students.